Hi everyone, so in this video we are going to discuss about rockyou.txt. For those of you who are unaware, rockyou.txt contains a list of unique passwords and is widely used in real world scenarios for brute forcing passwords, dictionary attacks, uh, which basically means that it contains a list of passwords and we use all those passwords and try to attempt to break into a certain set of accounts whenever necessary or required. Um, Coming to what is RockYou, RockYou was a social media application in 2000, which was founded in 2005, and in 2009, an attacker was basically able to execute a SQL injection and was able to dump the entire database, which basically included 32 million passwords of the users, those who were using the application at that time. However, what makes it different is that these passwords were not hashed but were stored in plain text. For those of you who are not sure what hashing is, we'll cover it in mathematical terms. So basically, when we have a function f of x and we can input some value x and get some output y. Uh, in similarly, in terms of hashing function, we can input some password and get a unique string of characters which identifies this password. However, important characteristic here is that if we are aware of the mathematical function fx, we can go back from y to x. But in case of a hash, we will not be able to go back to a password if the hashing function is like good in terms of its strength. The interesting part wasn't just the 32 million passwords, but it gave a picture to human psychology on how people were using their passwords. So these are a few passwords from the rockyou.txt file. So there were a few studies on how people were setting up their passwords, and what it revealed was they were using certain set of parameters more than others, and were using common parameters. For example, they were using their names combined with the year of birth. Different people use different special characters at the rate underscore hyphen whatever else you can think of. Um, there were birth years, sports teams, pets, multiple things that were used in the passwords commonly. Um, so what humans were doing was were just appending or replacing certain characters to meet the requirements. For example, if I ask all the users on a website to enter a special character in the password, a uppercase character, so what they'll do is they'll keep the S capital, the first character capital, replace I with the similar character exclamation mark, and leave the password as it is. This password may feel strong, but this password is not mathematically strong enough to not be cracked in any sense. So what it did was that it showed how patterns were created by humans in their passwords. Coming to mathematical way of representing. So on the left side, it's a brute forcing attack where we go through all single characters at all single places. So it'll start with an A at the last and move and change all characters, check all permutation combinations. It is super expensive mathematically, computationally, uh, but it's exhaustive. It covers every single case. However, with the rockyou.txt file, we have a certain set of passwords which are used by actual users, and we can basically use these passwords to specifically target people who we want to, or maybe target some default credential test and find some default credentials. So, for example, your router might have admin as the password, This list will definitely find it quick enough and efficiently rather than going for a brute forcing attack in this case. So that's how it changed and started being used in real world scenarios. So not just this, the passwords are widely reused by the users. So it's not like if I use a password for Gmail, I won't be using it for other services like maybe Amazon or Netflix or whatever. Um, what it did was that once your credentials are leaked from one service, those might lead to other breaches indirectly. So you might not know that your Gmail password is already out, which was the same password for GitHub because your email was the same and the password was same. Um, and the attacker can now access GitHub because you have not enforced any MFA or any secondary uh, authentication measures on the platform. So one breach can lead to multiple compromises. Moving on to the next part. So Rockyou was a starting point where people realized that they could use uh, the concept of password files to crack or brute force or use it for dictionary attacks. There were hundreds of breaches over the years. They still happen every year. Um, so what people or specifically attackers started doing was that they started aggregating these sources. So what they did was whatever passwords they were able to find. I'm not saying that the Yahoo passwords were unhashed, but there are certain ways where common passwords can be brute forced again into what their hashes contained. So Yahoo might have stored the passwords in hashes, but there are certain ways attackers can get back to the passwords, especially for weaker hashing functions. A good hashing function will never allow that. So what attackers started doing was that they started aggregating these lists and the passwords that were leaked from different sources and created a unified list. This might sound absurd, but this is one of the best things an attacker has to crack any account. So a recent rockyou 2024 list contained approximately 9 billion passwords, which would likely contain most of the common passwords used. Additionally, most of the attacks that happen today are through stolen credentials. Brute force is there, exploits are there, vulnerabilities are there. But if you hand over your credentials or you're using some weak credentials which are already leaked, it's a big problem and gives access to the attacker directly. If they run the attack for like 2 days, they'll get in through the passwords. Um, so what can we learn here? Like, what is the takeaway? The takeaway is that use unique passwords. Maybe use new generators, password generators, password storing devices, password storing applications, secure ones, of course, and implement a secondary layer of authentication, basically, which confirms that you are the real person who is accessing. Could be fingerprint, could be iris match or MFA authentication code. Monitoring is not that simple for a common user. However, we'll cover that in a bit. Um, we have so basically it just did not expose passwords, but it actually exposed the human behavior surrounding those passwords. Moving to the resources. So I have a website here, Have I Been Pwned, a very famous website. So you can fill in your email and basically check if the email has been compromised in any of the breaches which have been recognized. So this shows the list of breaches. Um, this specific email password was leaked. There's another additional thing you can use here, the passwords. So let's say if we have a password, I'm just typing in query at the rate 123. If I type it here and check, so this shows me that this password is pawned and like basically which is public and already with the attackers. So I should not use this password. There's another useful feature here, which is Notify Me. Basically, you can fill in your email address and sign up for alerts. What it does is that it will notify you as soon as your email is identified in any breach. So let's say you are using this email for GitHub account and GitHub gets compromised tomorrow with all their credentials. You'll be notified through email by this service provider, HaveIBeenPwned, and they'll make you aware that you should change your password and anything on those lines. Um, so yeah, this is it for this video. If you think this was useful to you in any way, uh, hit that like. If you think you want to learn more about cybersecurity, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back with another video very, very soon. Thank you for watching. See you on the other side.